You're listening to Hockey Talk on the Rock
All right, stop.
with Laura and Keith.
It's interesting.
So let's back up a second.
He played absolutely out of his mind.
It made no sense to me.
And now, here are your hosts.
We are back doing Hockey Talk on the Rock, episode number 90, and we're so thrilled and happy to have a special guest today, Rev Trev from Kempner Sports. Check him out on YouTube, follow him on Twitter, all the good things. He doesn't just do hockey, he does football. He probably does other things too. I can't keep up, but he's joining us to do a little bit of hockey talking today. And we are going to get a little bit caught up on some Canucks news, and then we're going to do our annual tradition, second year in a row, of doing some way too early predictions of the Final Four, the Final Two, and the champs. So thanks, Trevor, for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm pumped to be back.
It's been a good summer, hopefully. And so on Friday, when we were actually doing our draft, the Canucks snuck through a little trade.
Yeah.
They traded Jason Dickinson and a second-round pick to the Blackhawks for Riley Stillman. Is it Riley?
It's Riley.
So depth 24-year-old left-handed defenseman, saves the Canucks $1.3 million on the cap for the next 2 years. Bit of a pricey dish to give up a second after they already traded a third to get him. How do you guys feel?
Yeah, when I initially saw the trade, I was a little bit disappointed just because of the second. I just saw that they traded Dickinson and I was like, oh, great. And then I saw that they attached the second to it and I was a little bit upset. But I feel like now, thinking about it for a couple of days, like Riley Stillman does provide the Canucks something that they didn't really have. I mean, they have Shen, which I guess is somewhat similar, but he's younger, he's physical, he'll play on that bottom pair to begin anyway. And the Canucks with defensemen, you know, they always seem to have tons of injuries on the back end. So it's not a bad thing to have another player come in. I think they had to move Dickinson. I think players had outplayed him in the preseason. So I feel like almost again, for the sake of having the players on the team that should have made the team from camp, it was a good move to get him out of there. But giving up essentially a third and then a second for, you know, a year of Jason Dickinson not being productive does kind of suck. I'm not going to say it doesn't. It is a 2024 pick, which is important because this draft is meant to be super deep. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of at a wash with it now, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. It seems minor, but it's major at the same time. And it's like really okay. We did it. It is what it is. There's nothing really to get excited about in that deal. I think it's just a salary dump, and Dickinson hasn't produced, and he's been injured, and we need people to produce. So, and we're in, you know, like most teams, in a very bad cap situation. So you just have to do some of these things. I agree with you. I don't like the second round pick, but I'm hoping that Stillman revive his career here. He has a huge hitting package that we can see highlights over and over. I hope that happens, but who knows what's going to happen in this deal, this major deal.
Yeah. And I mean, I've heard a couple people suggest like, oh, why didn't they just bury Dickinson in the minors?
Yeah.
I mean, like the Canucks would have still been on the hook for a little over $1 million, so they would have saved a little bit more. But at that point, like, do you really want him on the AHL roster taking up minutes and a roster spot for guys that are trying to develop and bring up, like when they clearly had no use for him? Like, yeah. I mean, I guess it's the price you pay.
Yeah.
I agree.
So yeah, I don't know. Do we have any other random leak news that I'm not thinking of here?
I can only think of the Buffalo Sabres naming Okposo the captain there.
Yeah, I felt Okposo was a shocker of a captaincy. I kind of thought it would have been Cousins, and if not Cousins, it would have been, who did I suggest before?
I thought Tuck.
Yeah, Tuck, because he's from Buffalo.
Yeah, and then maybe Darlene, if they wanted to go kind of off the board, I could have seen it. But yeah, I thought that was random.
At least they have one.
Yeah.
Like, no, we don't want one. I'm like, okay.
But yeah,
I agree. That's weird. That's totally weird. Why would they pick him? I don't know. Maybe because he's the oldest guy on the team now. I don't know.
You never know. You never know about the intangibles they bring behind the scenes, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right. So the big moments. Yeah, you guys want to start with the far away teams and let's throw down who we think will be our final two in the East this year.
Sure, sounds good.
I'm just hoping that I don't do as bad as last year, because I thought for sure I was going to win this. I thought, you guys. So no, I went with the Maple Leafs last year. I'm still very upset that I did that. I just was believing the hype a little too much. I do like their core, but I'm going to redeem myself this year. Okay, I had the other one right. I think a couple of us picked Colorado to win last year, right?
I had Colorado Tampa in the final, but I said Tampa was going to three-peat.
Right.
And I was close.
You were
close. You were the closest
by far. I had the Islanders in the final.
Unless picking the winner counts as like actually winning, because then it would have been me.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Alrighty.
All right. Trev, you want to lead off? What do you got?
Okay, so we're doing Eastern Conference?
Yeah, let's do East.
Okay, so this one's a little more difficult, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I want to say Lightning, but I just get tired of saying that. I have to say the Lightning and the Atlantic, just because they still have the goaltending. I think the goaltending is the key there. But I really like the Panthers there too, so I could see the Panthers and the Lightning going head to head. But if we're going the Metropolitan Division, I'm not going with my second favorite team, the Flyers, not going there. But I am going to go with a little bit of a surprise, and you're actually wearing the jersey. I'm going to go with the Capitals this year. I have a feeling that this is their year. I love how they got better goaltending.
Yeah.
They're still solid, and I just think there'll be some injuries and things. Like I really want to go with the Rangers. I really want to go with the Rangers, because I actually think, yeah, forget it. I'm switching Rangers versus Lightning on that side. I don't want to go that way, but that's where I'm going to go.
So that's the rematch of last year's Eastern Conference Final.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Now you said that, I can't do that. Okay, go on. No, I'll stick with that for now.
I'll pull a Regis. Is that your final answer?
That is going to be my final answer, even though it sounds like I'm just copying last year.
That's fair. They're good teams. What do you got, Laura?
Okay, so I think I'm going to start with the Metro, because to me, I feel like the Atlantic I need to think about for a second. But I'm going to take Carolina, which is, I think, a popular pick to win it all right now. But I feel like they're kind of overdue for a bit of a run. They have the goaltending if Anderson can stay healthy, and then they're going to get Pacioretty, who's basically going to be like their trade deadline acquisition. I don't know if their scoring depth is not as good as other teams in the East per se, but if Svechnikov can take a step forward, and we'll see what happens with them. So I'm going to take Carolina for the Metro. And man,
wait a minute, was it Florida last year that you loved? Or was it Carolina that you loved last year?
I think it was Florida. I think I had Florida Islanders, and I had the Islanders making the final, which was just.
I know, but didn't you pick a whole bunch of these people in your hockey pool? Keith, you were bugging her last year about this. You're like, of course you're going to pick this team. They're all on your hockey team, your hockey pool. So what was that? The Hurricanes or the Panthers last year? That's what I want to know.
Anyway, I think I'm going to make your mistake this year, and I'm going to take Toronto. Although I do have a feeling that it's going to be Tampa, and I don't want to pick against Tampa, but I just feel like they've played so much. Right. I'm going to take Toronto. I'm going to say they're going to finally do it. It'll be Toronto, Carolina in the Eastern final.
Okay, well, you can't tell right now, but I'm irate because I was going to take those two teams, and since you did that, I can't do the same too.
Sure you can. Why not? Go for it. Why you guys both be wrong at the same time?
Stick with Toronto, though.
Okay.
I picked Toronto to win the President's Trophy, and so I'm going to pick them to go on a run, and their goaltending is going to shock the hockey world this year. And
okay. Can we just time out for? Sorry. What about their goaltending? Who's going to be the goaltender? That's what I want to know.
Samsonov for sure.
Okay, so if it's Samsonov, I'm with you. But if you're Matt Murray, I'm sorry.
No,
we got to stop this podcast right now.
No, you know what? I thought Samsonov played really well against the Panthers, despite them losing that first round series.
Okay,
I think he was a lot of the reason that they won a couple games even against Florida. So I feel like it was a smart 1 year bet on Toronto's part. I feel like he'll emerge as ultimately their number one, and I'm going to say Toronto will make it out of the first round and into the Eastern Conference Finals. I was gonna say Carolina. I did have a little bit of doubt because, like, I think Kotkaniemi is their second line
Yep.
center now, and I don't know how confident I feel in him as
Yep.
being their number 2 center.
Yep, I agree.
So it makes me want to pick Rangers. Trev picked Rangers.
Go for it.
It could be fun to go Islanders to have a bounce back year,
Yeah.
but I think ultimately I'm going to do the Rangers and the Maple Leafs.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. And since you guys picked first, I'm going to go first in the
Okay,
West
sounds
because
good.
I want to get my picks out there
Yeah,
because I
sure.
thought about all of this before.
Okay, sounds good.
I don't want to get all my picks stolen here.
I'm gonna be mad if you steal my one.
Well, I'm going to be boring.
Okay.
I don't care if you guys pick the same as me. I'm picking my teams. I'm just
Okay,
saying.
sounds good.
I'm going boring. I'm going boring in the West, and I'm going Colorado will be in the Western Conference Final.
Yep.
I feel like Nashville will be a good team this year, but I don't think they're going to beat Colorado. And I feel like St. Louis is going to be a good team, but I also can't see them beating Colorado. So I think it'll be Colorado against the Calgary Flames. I think they're going to be just such a defensive, out for revenge type team. I
Yep.
know Huberdeau kind of disappeared for the Panthers in
Yep.
the playoffs, but Kadri's good. Lindholm's
Markstrom will bounce back.
Markstrom should bounce back. That was an atrocious series he played against Edmonton. So Calgary, Colorado.
Alrighty, so you did take one of mine, but you didn't take the other. So I'm gonna be my surprise team, which you did just mention. I'm gonna take Nashville.
Okay.
I have a feeling about Nashville this year. I think that they have the goaltending that they could beat Colorado, and I also kind of am starting to doubt Colorado's center depth. But Newhook could be really good. He could emerge, and it's probably stupid because I do think that team is amazingly good, but I just feel like Nashville plays a style of hockey that's suited to the playoffs. They have the scoring, they have the goaltending, their defense is really good after adding McDonough. I think that they have a shot, so I'm going to take them. And then I think I'm going to be boring and take Calgary with you because I do just feel like for a playoff team out of the Pacific, they are the best. Again, unless you have like someone cross over from the Central and make it to the final. But I'll take Calgary, Nashville.
I like those picks, guys. Okay, so let me go Pacific Division because I want the Canucks to win, but they're not going to. I do think they're going to make the playoffs. So
Yeah.
I think that's my bold take this year.
I think so too. I hope so.
And I think the Flames are better this year than they were last year. I love what they did. Like, I still can't believe they did what they did. Like,
Yeah.
how did they recover? That was amazing. Okay.
Like,
But
how
in saying that, you guys haven't talked about Jack Campbell going to the Oilers. And I'm just telling you, they needed any kind of decent goaltending and they're better. So I'm going to go with the Oilers.
Okay.
McDavid, Draisaitl, Evander Kane for a full year. I'm going. So Battle of Alberta right here between me and you guys. And I want to pick the Avalanche and I want to pick them to do back-to-back championships. So that's super boring. So I'm going with the Minnesota Wild. Let's go.
I like
Got it. I love
like
the Wild. I love everything about that team other than their jerseys and that they're not Vancouver. But other than that, I love everything. Did you know that Kaprizov had more points than Austin Matthews last year?
Yep, he was
That's crazy.
or fifth in the league last year.
I love Kaprizov. I think it's awesome.
He's good. Zuccarello, like Marc-Andre Fleury somehow is going to like do good once
I
again.
can see it.
So I'm going there. So that's my big splash. I'm going bold.
I like
Okay.
the Minnesota pick. They could be really good. They're one of those teams that a lot of people probably don't have a lot of faith in because they had to trade away Fiala and their cap is mucky, but they could do it. They
They have a couple rookies on that team too that could step in and play really well. I feel like they're in a decent position, like better than what people think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll see.
Okay, so going back to Trev, going back to the East. I mean, we might as well just do who's going to be in the Stanley Cup final.
Do the final, yeah.
So who's going to make it out of your picks there?
I'm picking the Rangers. And yeah, so do you want me to go west as well, or just want to do east?
Yeah, let's do both.
I'm going. If I'm all in, I might as well just stay all in. We're going Minnesota, and then let's just do it. Let's do it. Final. I don't know. Like, who's gonna win that? That's gonna be the worst final ever. Just saying. You know what? I hate the Rangers because they beat Vancouver. So I'm just gonna go with I'm sticking with Minnesota. That's my bold take.
Woo.
So Minnesota Rangers in the final. Minnesota wins their first cup.
That's right.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay, Laura.
I'm gonna take like my hype train with Toronto is done at the conference final. I'm gonna take Carolina, and I'm gonna take Nashville. As I said before, I think they've got a decent team this year. I think they're gonna surprise some people, but I think Carolina is ultimately gonna win that.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
Who did I say for the East? I said New York.
You said New York.
I wanted Carolina. I went New York.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go Toronto in the final.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have them against Colorado.
Wow.
And they will have the ultimate disappointment of losing to the back-to-back champs.
In Game 7,
And well, sure.
not scoring a goal.
And there will be riots
be
in
up for
Toronto.
you,
There will be riots for sure in Toronto. That's what I'm going to go for.
I like it.
Colorado repeat champs.
Okay, I think they're all well, I'd say the Minnesota pick is definitely the most out there. Like I think Carolina's been picked a lot this year, and obviously Colorado. So we'll see.
Time will
It
tell.
can't be worse than last year. Oh no, wait a minute! I picked the winner.
Awesome. Okay, well, I think that's all we got for this episode, and we'll, hockey's starting for real here coming up. The Canucks play their first game this week.
Yeah, I'm super stoked.
And we'll be doing this a lot more often, and hopefully we can get together and do this again during the season, Trev. So,
and next time we meet together, I'm just so jealous of your wallpaper in the back. I might try to do the same thing in my
just look to Toy Story for your inspiration. That's all you. You've got a friend in us. All right, so this has been Hockey Talk on the Rock, episode number 90, and this is Rev Trev with Kempner Sports joining us. So everybody, thanks for listening.
Woo!